What's your if you go low, I'll go lower moment? My coworker Sarah kept stealing my lunch from the office fridge, not just taking a bite, literally eating my entire meal and leaving the empty container. When I confronted her, she'd act shocked and say, "Oh my gosh, I thought that was the communal food someone brought to share." This happened every single week for 2 months. I started writing my name in huge letters on everything. She'd peel the labels off. I bought a lunchbox with a lock. She somehow got it open. I even hid my food behind other people's stuff. She'd hunt it down like a bloodhound. Sarah made good money as a senior analyst, way more than me, but she never brought her own lunch. Instead, she'd cruise the break room like a vulture, picking through everyone's leftovers and acting like she was doing us a favor by cleaning out old food. She had this whole routine where she'd open containers, smell them, and make these disgusted faces while saying, "Ugh, whoever left this here should really clean out their stuff." The woman drove a brand new Tesla and wore designer clothes every day, but somehow couldn't afford to buy her own sandwich. She'd brag about her expensive weekend trips to wine country while eating my homemade soup that I'd spent Sunday afternoon preparing. I tried everything. I put passive-aggressive notes on my containers saying, "Please don't eat. This is my only meal today." She'd throw the notes away. I asked our manager to send an email about respecting personal property. Sarah nodded along enthusiastically during the meeting like she was totally on board with the policy. The worst part was watching her eat my food right in front of me. She'd heat up my carefully prepared meals in the microwave, add her own seasonings like she was improving my cooking, and then sit at the table next to me while eating every bite. When I'd stare at her, she'd offer me a forkful and say, "Want some of this mystery dish? It's actually pretty good." She'd even critique my cooking while stealing it. "Whoever made this could have used more salt, or this would be better with some fresh herbs." I wanted to scream, "That's my food and my grandmother's recipe. You're insulting." I started spending extra money buying lunch from the cafeteria downstairs, but that was getting expensive. $20 a day just because this woman couldn't respect basic human decency. My wife suggested I talk to HR, but Sarah was buddies with half the HR department. Other coworkers started noticing too. Jessica from accounting mentioned that her yogurt kept disappearing. Mike from IT said someone had been eating his leftover pizza, but nobody wanted to cause drama, so we all just suffered in silence while Sarah continued her daily buffet. The breaking point was when I brought my grandmother's homemade lasagna that took her 6 hours to make. It was my birthday lunch, and I'd been looking forward to it all week. My grandmother only made this lasagna twice a year, and she'd driven 40 minutes just to drop it off at my office because she knew how much I loved it. This wasn't just any lasagna, it was a family recipe passed down through 4 generations, with this special blend of cheeses that my great-grandmother brought over from Italy. The sauce had to simmer for hours, and the pasta was made from scratch. I opened the fridge at noon to find Sarah heating up my grandmother's lasagna in the microwave, scraping out every last bit. She'd even brought her own Parmesan cheese to sprinkle on top. When I asked what she was doing, she said someone left this unlabeled container in there for days. I figured it was going bad. I pointed to my name written in black Sharpie across the lid. She squinted at it and said, "Oh, I couldn't read that. The writing was so faded." It was fresh marker from that morning. That weekend, I spent 4 hours making a beautiful lasagna that looked identical to my grandmother's recipe. Same glass dish, same perfect layers, same golden cheese on top. Except I replaced the ground beef with 2 cans of premium dog food, added extra garlic and Italian seasoning to mask any weird smell, and made sure everything melted perfectly. Monday morning, I put it in the fridge with no label, just like she claimed was the problem. I even scratched off part of my name to make it look old and faded. Then I waited. By lunchtime, Sarah had discovered my masterpiece. She heated it up, added her fancy Parmesan, and was telling everyone in the break room how delicious the mystery lasagna was. She even asked around to see who made it because she wanted the recipe. I just smiled and said I had no idea who could have made something so special. She never touched anyone's food again.